Welcome back. In this tutorial we will look at creating characters using models which have a skeleton which is not humanoid. In particular we will use this barbarian from Maxim Bugramov, which is a humanoid looking model but with a skeleton that is generic, and we will use this spider from Animalia, which is definitely not humanoid looking. If you create a character and you drag in a prefab which is not humanoid, you will see that you have this extra field called bone mapper, and you have this drop down for the animator type, where you have a choice of normal animator or generic simple animator. Let's start with some basic concepts. If we look at this barbarian model, you can see that it has a generic rig, and it comes with a series of animations that you can use made specific for this model. The default animator for Edon character controller has a number of states, and if you look at locomotion, you have normal locomotion, prone, crouch, crouch strafe, strafe locomotion, swimming strafe locomotion, diving, all the parkour states, and so on. This will only work for a character which has a humanoid skeleton, because all these animations are made for a humanoid avatar. The generic animator uses a simplified model where you basically have idle, walking, running, jumping, and strafe, optionally flying, and you have some attacks, some basic animations, but not the full set of animations. In order to create a character for a generic model, you need to create what is called a bone mapper. A bone mapper maps bones in a humanoid skeleton with bones in the character own skeleton in the hierarchy. If we grab the barbarian, you can see it has a skeleton, and this skeleton is exactly like a human skeleton. In this case, creating the bone mapper is a one-to-one copy and paste of bone names. So how do you create a bone mapper? It's very simple. Create Edon bone mapper. And as you can see, these are the bones of a humanoid skeleton, and the process is basically copy and paste of bone names. I'll pause the video and come back when I've finished this. So as you can see, it's basically a one-to-one mapping. And now we can create the character. And pick the bone mapper we decided to use. For this character we will use the generic simple animator, and a key point for generic model, we need to create a custom unarmed weapon. We will go into more details on weapons in a later tutorial, but basically the custom being unarmed is actually a weapon, and that defines the actions you can do, such as punching, kicking, and so on. The default one is made for humanoid characters and will not work on this particular model because it's not a humanoid. So we will create a new one. now, as you can see here, we have also attack action and an unarmed weapon. If we go into play mode right now, nothing will happen. The character will remain in the T-pose, and that is because the animator needs to get the animation that are specific to this character. So we will go look for animations, and we can see that this character has animation with root motion and without root motion. Let's look at these animations. What do they look like? And you can see this animation is not good because it loops back to the origin instead of just moving forward. So we will use animation without root motion, and let's go here and let's see what we have. We have one idol. We have a second idol, and a third idol. What does this look like? This looks more like a crouch animation. So we will just keep these three. And then we will grab a walk animation. And a run animation. And we disable use root motion. Now, we just need to make sure that these animations are looping. And now we have our idol barbarian that can walk and run and behave like any other character. And just to complete this process, we can set up one attack. We will go into more details on attack in a later tutorial, but this is just to show you how this works. And we have the attacks for this character. Now we're going to repeat the same process for the spider, which is slightly different type of character, but same process. This is a weird skeleton. It does not have a spine. It only has a pelvis, legs, two mouth bones that control these two mandibles, and that's it. put this as the upper chest, and then we will start with this. This is the right arm, sorry, left arm, which only has 3 bones. So we do the shoulder, the lower arm, and the hand. Then we will grab this as the left leg, then we will grab this as the right arm, and this as the right leg. Can delete this, and we can make a character using the spider and the spider bone mapper. We will use the generic simple, and we will do the same process we did for the other one to set up the animation. We can see there's a walk sprint, so we can use walk sprint. Let's check root motion works on these, and they are set to looping already. Let's look for some idle animation. This will work. And again, just for simplicity, I'm only doing these, but you can add all the others with the hit reaction and death and so on, based of course on the animations you have. Now, as you can see, your spider can move around. We can change the camera, keep it further away, and here you have your character work. This process is slightly cumbersome. There's multiple steps involved, but this lets you, if you have either an AI, you can easily create a monster by following this process, because the only difference from a character controller perspective between a playable character and an AI is basically the presence of this input manager, which handles collecting the input for the player, and the presence of an AI controller for the character. So This system is flexible enough to let you create monsters using monster models, which can also leverage as a feature of the controller, such as flying. And we will go into more details on AI options in further tutorials. That's it for this one, and in the next one we will look at the scene structure.